Well, good afternoon. Hello, welcome live on Sports Today. I'll start with the weather update because this WTC final, this World Test Championship final, has been so much about the weather already. Day one entirely washed out, early stumps on day two because of bad light, a start-stop final session there after some resilient batting from the Indians, especially Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane after that fine opening stand between Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. What is the weather looking like? The BCCI just tweeted 5 minutes back. They tweeted to say that it's been a rainy morning here in Southampton and the covers have just been removed. Next inspection will take place at 10:20 a.m. local time, which means 2:50 p.m. India Standard Time, which means in about 15 minutes, an inspection will take place. It has been raining in Southampton this morning. But the good news is that the covers have just been removed. About 5 minutes back, 6 minutes back, the covers were removed from the pitch in Southampton. And an inspection will take place at 2:50 p.m. India time, which is 10:20 a.m. local time. Remember, the game was supposed to start on at 10 a.m., but looks like there is another delay. That is what we are learning from Southampton. This, of course, a lot of us would have been excited with the prospect of some good gutsy cricket again on day three. Remember, Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill got off to a very good start. It was a fine start after being asked to bat by New Zealand captain Kane Williamson, who won the toss and decided to bowl in overcast conditions. We have spoken about how important it was for the openers to give a good solid start for India. They batted out um, the new, as much they batted out as much as possible of the new ball with gutsy standard. And then Cheteshwar Pujara, 54 balls, two boundaries, but he got out. And then it was really up to Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane to see India through, and they were looking really good, really solid. They capitalized on the loose balls, but again, that, like I keep saying, that start-stop final session proved to be frustrating for both teams, undoubtedly, and for fans around the world. A lot of you have been commenting on how annoying that was. Well, that's the update from the BCCI. I'll quickly take you to what Dinesh Karthik tweeted early in the morning. He said, of course, there was he his picture showed. He tweeted a picture which said that the ground was in cover. The pitch was covered. That the square was covered. That's what the picture showed. But he said another 3.5 hours to go because he tweeted that at 7 a.m. In Southampton, around 6:37 a.m. in Southampton, which said this is to go for play to 3.5 hours for play to start. So let's not worry too much, guys. For now, it's cloudy, but the good start part is that there is not rain at the moment. That there wasn't rain, but there was some rain later on. From what we understand from the BCCI tweet, they said it's been a rainy morning in Southampton. Play in any case is scheduled to start at 10:30 a.m. In Southampton, but which is 3 o'clock India Standard Time. There will be an inspection 10 minutes before scheduled start of play. So that is where we'll get a clearer picture. But if there is an inspection 10 minutes before start of play, I doubt play will start on time exactly at 3 p.m. India time or 10:30 a.m. Southampton time. So that's something. Those are the updates we'll have to wait for. Whether there'll be any delay, any further delay, how much longer will that be? We're trying to get we're trying to figure that out. Well, presumably, which is what we are hoping to get. If, like I said, if it's an inspection at 10:20 a.m. or 10 minutes before start, I doubt there will be um, a start possible in the next 10 minutes. Well, this has been a bit of a party spoiler, hasn't it? The World Test Championship final. We've been looking forward to this mega test match for so many months, and the first day was washed out, bad light played truant on the second day, and now we are waiting for an inspection, and we are waiting for official word of of this from this test match. Orko Prabhu Bahaduri is saying, hope rain stops playing spoil sport. Orko, you've said exactly what I wanted to say and what I have been saying, that we hope that the weather stops playing Spoil Sport. The Suri S is saying such a gripping contest. Do you think that there should be a dedicated window for the next Test Championship like the ODI World Cup 2019? Teams playing each other will generate lots of excitement. I'm not sure, but I look. There's been a dedicated window, right? There's been a dedicated window for the World Test Championship final. There was a schedule announced who will play who. Again, because of the pandemic last year, there were some rule changes in the point system, the percentage of points calculated, and who went through and who went not. But undoubtedly, India and New Zealand were the two best teams who qualified. And I think, in all fairness, India were probably the most exciting team to watch through the World Test Championship final, especially their victory in Australia and then that gripping Test series in England. So um, there is a window, of course, and the final had been scheduled in England long back. But this is the weather playing truant in Southampton. Also, remember this final was scheduled to be played at Lords, but it had to be shifted to Southampton because of logistical reasons around the COVID pandemic. So this is a bit of a dampener for sure. So this is the update. In fact, we wait for another 5-10 minutes, shouldn't we, to see what the update is, and then probably we'll be able to break that on Sports Today as well. For now, I'll be happy to take questions. I'll be happy to take you through some of the stats that we'd come across. Also talk about the women's game probably, which was so fascinating. Sneh Rana, Shafali Verma, these debutants, Deepti Sharma. It was a game of debutants for India. And of course, Sophia Dunkley for England. She was brilliant on her debut as well. You have to spare a thought for Heather Knight, who missed out on a century in 100 matches, England captain. But you just kudos to the Indians, kudos to the young Indian girls, especially Shafali Verma and Sneh Rana. I thought they were brilliant, and hope in the time to come they get a lot more Test cricket, and these women will surely get even better if they play more Test cricket against the top teams. So you saw how spectacularly gritty these young girls were: Deepti Sharma, Shafali, and of course Sneh Rana in that second innings. That was just a pleasure to watch. As for the WTC final, the World Test Championship final, well, we've been getting some comments on when the match will resume. We're just waiting to see what the inspection says, what the match officials tell us after the inspection. We're scheduled in about 8 minutes from now, so we'll try and wait and check what the inspection results in, what the match officials tell us after the inspection. The ground was covered, but the pitch. The good news from BCCI was that the cover has been removed, and there will be an inspection after a rainy morning. Orko, well, Suri is asking, thought Sophie's trash talk against Shafali was toxic. She tried to portray Shafali as a hit and miss batswoman. Shafali Verma is far from a hit and miss batswoman, isn't she? She's just looked so solid, so compact, and she's got that aggressive streak in her. In fact, you can go on IndiaToday.in and read a lot of Shafali Verma. We've been covering Shafali Verma for a while now, surprised as we were at her exclusion from that ODI series against South Africa. She's just such a compact batsman. You'll get to know. In fact, very shortly, we are going to release another fine article on why Shafali Verma, on who Shafali Verma idolizes and who he's based her game around. And there will always be talk. There'll always be a lot of talk out in the middle. But kudos to her, the 17-year-old. She sort of she did not let all of that affect her and played two fine innings. The only thing, the only thing that will irk me is that this girl missed out on two centuries on debut, because they were hers to take. In the first innings, she was just 4 runs short, and even in the second innings, the way she got out. Uh, I know that's a natural game. She's based her innings. She played both her innings based on a natural game. But I just feel, what a fine achievement that would have been for a 17-year-old. Imagine 200s on debut. Wow, that would have been something for cricketing folklore. That would have been part of cricketing folklore for ages to come. Also, Orco, first, more and more need to start playing. Competition brings more option. Absolutely, competition gets you better. Practice makes you perfect, but nothing better than match time out in the middle. That's what people keep saying, right? You can practice as much as you want, but competition, real match time, nothing better than that. Nothing really better than that. We're waiting to see when we can figure out um, the start time. But we're just waiting to figure out what is what is the condition from the ground. In fact, from what I'm seeing on screen, it doesn't look too bad at the moment. From what we're seeing from the ground, it doesn't look all that bad. But then again, since I'm thousands of miles away from the Aegis Bowl in Southampton, it's difficult to predict what exactly could be turning up. But the good news is that the teams are warming up. Uh, there is probably there's a pool of water soaking somewhere around the team staircase. So we'll have to wait and watch what the inspection gives us, what we get to know after the inspection. So there is, of course, we're living in hope right now. I'm hoping that it's not a very delayed start, that the delay is not too long when it comes to the inspection, especially, and after what they decide after the inspection is what we want to see. For now, it's a little difficult to predict what is going to go down in Southampton. But to talk about Virat Kohli's innings, in fact, that was something special as well, right? Virat Kohli, remember, he had a torrid time in England in 2014, getting out to James Anderson, unable to face that swing. But then he came back in 2018 when he came back for that Test series. He was a completely different player. He was captain of the team, arguably the best batsman in the world. Before that, in 2014-15, he got tons of runs in Australia, 400s. Then he went to England in 2018, completely reformed as a player and as a captain, as a batsman. He was just breathtaking to watch. He ensured that he got those runs. He did not make those mistakes that he made in 2014, fending outside the off stump, chasing the ball outside the off stump, and he reaped the rewards. He was happy to wait. He's a naturally aggressive batsman. He likes to keep the game moving, but he hung around and was able to achieve so much. And of course, even yesterday, you saw that he was waiting. He played the waiting game. He hung in there. The ball was doing a fair bit. Him and Pujara first, and then Virat Kohli and Ajinkya Rahane. All of them were waiting or willing to play that waiting game. Sanjay Chakraborty, in fact, Virat Kohli and Ajinkya both should play patiently, not panic about scoring. They frustrate the bowlers at least the first innings, and Rishabh Jaddu can counter the opposition bowlers. In fact, Sanjay, that is exactly what I was talking about. They have shown a lot of patience, a lot of grit. From you understand that with big players, with big stroke makers, it's sometimes very important to curb their ego, and these two players, they don't have any ego. They can go at a very very quick rate, when they know that the situation demands it. But they've sort of held their natural instincts back, and they've been able to dig in deep and ensure that India are in a decent position of strength. 146 for three at stumps last night. 98 overs was supposed to be bowled, but obviously that wasn't possible because of bad light, which forced early stumps. They could only play 64 overs, or they're about 64.4 overs. But Sanjay, I completely agree. They have been very patient. They have been extremely calculative. Orko also agrees with Sanjay, saying yes, laying the foundation is more important. I think they've done that. They're exactly what they're doing. An unbeaten 58-run partnership for the fourth wicket. They want to extend that. And it's just such a pleasure to watch Test cricket of such high intensity. I also don't understand a lot of the talk around Cheteshwar Pujara. He was doing what the team needed him to do. And remember, he's that kind of player who can get going from any situation. We saw what he did in Australia to take all those blows on his body and really stand defiantly before letting the likes of Rishabh Pant explode. And of course, we know what a talent, what a powerhouse of talent Rishabh Pant is. We're exactly 1 minute away from the inspection. We'll have to figure out what's happening um, at the ground. In fact, trying to get trying to figure out what's happening and see what the updates are. And exactly we'll figure out what's happening in Southampton. I'm trying to get you some more details, in fact, figuring out when the umpires and the match officials walk out in the middle for that all important inspection. This is 2:50 p.m. already. Um, and this is around when the inspection should be taking place. This is around when the match officials should be walking out to go and get um, get a sense of we where we are with this game and when it can start. Did New Zealand make a blunder by dropping Matt Henry and Ajaz Patel? Rajan Singh is asking. Well, we answered that yesterday. As for Ajaz Patel, they did not think that they needed that extra spinner. They did not think that they needed any particular spinner for this test match for in Southampton. They stuck by their strength, and uh, I said that yesterday. India have gone with their strength. Two of their bowlers, they're two of the best in the world. And also remember, R. Ashwin and R. Jadeja are brilliant spinners. They're world class spinners, but they also bring so much with the bat. And look at what this does to the balance of the side. The India batting deep up until number 8. R. Ashwin has a few Test match centuries. He's about what 500s in Test cricket. So a man like that is batting at number 8 for you. So that's of course a lot of factors would have played in the minds of the team management. And do not forget that they think that both these spinners can make an impact in any condition. And also to take Rajan's point further, um, Shane Warne did feel that it was a blunder for New Zealand to not play a spinner because he feels that there will be something in it for the slow bowlers on this pitch. But only time will tell. For now, we are trying to figure out what uh, what today looks like in the morning session. This is this is what we are trying to figure out if we can get any sort of play. It is there's been so much talk about the weather that we sort of sometimes it is overshadowed over the last 20 hour a few hours or so. It's overshadowed that brilliant batting performance by India in these conditions. England by Virat Kohli, they've done brilliantly. Resilience, just been determination. I think it's just been such a great game to watch so far. I mean, the 64 overs only in 2 days so far. You've only watched 64 overs of what should have been high quality cricket between two of the top teams in this world in this test arena. Um, Surias, do you think we could have had a left arm pace bowler like Sakaria in the playing 11? We need a left arm for sure. Well, look, yes, a left arm pacer, no doubt, adds a lot of variation. But if you look at Ishant Sharma, Bumrah, Shami, the three pacers in this playing 11, they all bring different a different kind of threat perception for the batsman. So it's just a very well balanced bowling attack. And again, you just don't throw a left armer in the mix or a swing bowler in the mix, or you just don't drop out a spinner because of preconceived notions. You go with your best bowling lineup, irrespective of left-handed fast bowlers, right-handed fast bowlers, one or two spinners. And I think that was a very pragmatic, practical decision by the Indians. They stuck with their best best bowling attack, their most experienced bowling attack, and they think that we believe that irrespective of conditions, these five bowlers will be able to get us 20 wickets, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Uh, India do believe that they have their best chance with these five bowlers. And also remember, in Australia, they did not play together these five bowlers because of injury perception, because of combinations, because of injury concerns. So now that they have these bowlers in place, they were only too happy to go ahead with them. So, uh, Siddharth Shriram, New Zealand need to bowl cross seam so that it swings and seams less and takes the edge. I was a little surprised actually with the way they bowled in the first hour or thereabout. In fact, it was gritty batting from the Indians, but I was a little surprised with the way New Zealand bowled before they got caught up and got those quick couple of wickets. It did look like they were a little off their high voltage game with the new ball for the first half hour, 45 minutes. That's what I felt, that they could have probably been a little more penetrative with the new ball, and they could have asked more questions of the Indian openers, and which they did later on. And I thought that by then Rohit and Shubman Gill were had their feet firmly in place. Bad light situation can't offer light. It should rethink ICC board rules and regulations, says Sanjay Chakraborty. In fact, that's something that I brought up at my show last night and was wondering exactly the same thing. What about the bad light rule is irking me? Is it probably the fact that you should just let the players go on if they can spot the ball easily, or because you have your your set parameters when you see the light meter? So that is a debate uh, for the times to come. But for now, breaking news: the inspection is done. We have a start time, and we're going to start at 11 a.m. Southampton time, which means 3:30 p.m. India time, which is about a half an hour's delay. So it's breaking on sports today. Play will start half an hour behind schedule. The inspection has taken place, and it will start at 11 a.m. Southampton time, which means 3:30 p.m. India Standard Time. So that's the news that's coming in from Southampton, which means 3:30 p.m. India time is when the when action will resume on on day three in the WTC final. So that's where you've heard it, right? So 11 a.m. is the start time. Well, this is what we are getting to hear, which is good news in effect, because if you looked at pictures from the ground, the pitch was covered, the square was covered, and the and we got to learn that there would be an inspection taking place at 10:50 a.m. local time in Southampton. Beg your pardon, 10:20 a.m. local time in Southampton, 2:50 p.m. India time. Now we know that there is an inspection has been done and a start time has been given, which means play will start half an hour behind schedule. It was supposed to start at 3 p.m. Our time in India, but it'll now go get underway. Play will now get underway at 3:30 p.m. Well, that's good news. Then we have we have some we have some good news to offer you ahead of day's play. 3:30 p.m. is when, which is not too bad. Only half an hour lost so far, at least on day three. And of course, there is a reserve day. Remember, somebody asked if there. I think somebody asked if there could have been two reserve days. But listen, rules can't be changed in the middle of a game. If we already the rule was that there will be one reserve day in the future. Should they consider two reserve days, three reserve days for the World Test Championship final to try and get a result in the best interest of the game and let the best team have the better chance of lifting the trophy by winning the title, by winning the test match. That is something that we can ponder over. There are lots of issues to look at: the light rules, the bad light rules, the fact that there is should there be more reserve days. There are so many things to look forward to in in fact, which could be topics of discussion in the times to come. Well, then, pink ball is here, yet use red ball in bad light conditions. ICC will take 200 years to make that rule change. Wait, while in T20 cricket, other formats will be dead by 2030 or so. So that I think that criticism is a little harsh, thinking of what has been done for Test cricket. The world. If you're talking of pink ball cricket, if you're talking of day-night cricket, please remember that most teams have struggled to adapt to the new format with the pink ball. It is not easy, and you wouldn't want um, a pink ball test match for the final, right? That is an experiment which has caught up. India have already played two pink ball test matches at home. You've seen Australia host several pink ball games, and sometimes does it offer more balance to the hosts who won the toss and with the ball? Do the bowlers hold more sway in certain conditions with the pink ball? We've seen different pink balls react differently in different conditions. So that is still at a stage, that's still at an early stage, and you don't want the pink ball to be used for the World Test Championship final. For the World Test Championship final, I would much rather have the conventional red ball game for a lot of factors, because the pink ball sort of would. Can you imagine what would have happened playing with a pink ball in these conditions? And that would have probably given the bowlers absolute sway over over the over the batsman in these conditions. I don't. I think it's fine. It's fine for them to play with the red ball. Orko saying pink ball still remains. What many nations are yet to play a pink ball test. That's right. A lot of nations haven't, and not a lot of nations have actually played regularly with a pink ball. So there are different takes on whether it should what should be the convention for a World Test Championship final. But I think it's okay to play with a red ball until and unless all teams around the world are completely comfortable and they understand the nuances of the pink ball and what it does in which condition. Sundarekha C is saying, should Rishabh Pant be aggressive today with the run rate being very low? Again, it is not a question of the run rate being low. It is not a question of who can be aggressive. It is about the conditions. Virat Kohli and Rahane can both play aggressively as well when they decide to, but the conditions are such, the situation is such that they want to preserve those wickets and build a solid foundation. How Rishabh Pant comes in and how he bats will also depend on what the situation is. Two early wickets, and you wouldn't expect Rishabh Pant to go bang bang straight away. He can play that game, and if need be, if India need to push for a score at by the time Jadeja and Rishabh Pant are at the crease, if India comfort and in a stronger position, you'll see some fireworks from Rishabh Pant and Ravindra Jadeja. Well, there. But the good news is, we'll see some action. We'll see some action in just a few minutes from now, just about half an hour from now. You'll see some action. Well, I'll try and pick up any other points, any other questions. If I have any, there's been plenty of comments. Siddharth Sriram saying, forget thrillers or 3-day tests. Stopping a test match due to bad light is lame. Cricket can't progress without changes. This is, again, we've had this discussion. We will probably get a nice debate going on Sports Today someday about the rule changes in terms of lights and what should be the parameter. Should it just, when you go out on the ground and see that, okay, it's fair enough to see the ball and then just go with it, or should you just go by the light meter? We'll probably have a nice debate on that, because it seems to be a topic of interest, and it is. And like I said, it sort of has been bothering me for the last several years, this light rule. And yesterday was a prime example of what happened and what should not have happened. Well, that's the update. I think I've covered everything that there was to. The fact is that there is a start time after the inspection, which means play will start at 11 o'clock Southampton time in England time, and 3:30 p.m. India time, which is about less than half an hour from now, 20 minutes from now. We should see some action. Well, thank you everybody for joining in, for your comments, for joining me on this broadcast. And thank you for all your comments, all your thoughts. I've tried to take as many points, as many questions as possible. And we will be able to come back soon. Of course, Warrior will come and join you in the session right after lunch, and then hopefully we will get plenty of cricket through the course of the day and try to catch up with overs lost and time lost. And of course, don't forget, there is the result. Looking forward to some exciting cricket. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do subscribe to Sports Today. There'll be plenty of updates on the World Test Championship, Euro, and of course, building up to the Olympics. There'll be plenty of content on Sports Today. Thank you. Have a good Sunday. Stay safe. Thank you.